A group of disabled people were stripped naked and locked in wheelchairs. Staff holding high-pressure water cannons. Spraying water on them. Old people with their heads down and numb expression. They were shivering with cold, but dare not make a sound. Many elderly people are also affected by suffering cold showers. From a bad died cold. Soon. This is the outcome of distant hopes. One less person. They're less burdened. This is the infamous Hong Kong Disabled Persons Home Society. Incidents of abuse. After getting the current senior report, investigative reporter pretending to be Tongwa's granddaughter came to Rainbow Home for the Disabled for an unannounced visit. As soon as you saw the sealed window in the confined space, staff who tear bags at every turn, and all kinds of bad smells mixed in the air, a lifeless feeling came over me. Thunberg is stupid. I don't remember what my granddaughter looks like. Suddenly, Xiaoqi saw a black plastic bag fly around. Open it up. Inside was a dead mouse. He hurried to find the dean, but the dean has already seen it. Xiaoqi pointed out that you don't seem to have enough manpower. He wants to volunteer here. The dean did not refuse. When speaking, he saw two young girls with intellectual disabilities. Seems to be very close to the dean. This closeness made Xiaoqi feel that something was wrong. After coming out, Xiaoqi saw a nurse stealing a boy who was trying to escape. Then a body was carried out. Xiaoqi, hurry up and check out. But there's nothing out there. People are used to dead people. The boy was still crying just now. The Forbidden City is 7 slaps without a word. This is for hitting. Can't get out of the car. Come here. Will you shut up? Will you shut up? Shut up. After the Forbidden City Xiaoqi found this boy named Ming Zai. He was overly frightened. He was shaking. Can't say a word. Xiaoqi came to the kitchen again. Found out they fed the disabled. It turned out to be expired siumai and white rice. But even a meal like this, it may not be available. After returning, Xiaoqi showed everyone the content of the candy. The boss said that this is not shocking. You can't see the whole event with just this information. This time it happened for disadvantaged Everyone groups. Has a sense of purpose. But for the old fritters Xiaoqi, any sense of journalistic mission is a lie. He just wants a promotion and a reporter raise. For many years. He has long been fascinated by the word idealism. Die by the nose. However, he still decided to continue the investigation. If there is a hit, at least you can keep your job. Now the news is getting worse. Xiaoqi is already on the verge of unemployment. He decided to start from within. Left hand. From a lame employee named Bro. Understand. Now there are only 2 regular employees but in the yard. But take care of 70 or 80 disabled Too busy people. At all. If someone is seriously they wouldn't ill, call an ambulance. Instead, they will find the kind of unqualified that ambulance way the police agency. Won't come to the door. This is already the default unspoken rule in the industry. Xiaoqi went to the staff of the Social Welfare Institute Understand again. The situation. The staff asked, you know a disabled person settled in government-funded institutions. How many years will it take? At least 15 years. Hospital facilities are in short supply. The social foxmouse doesn't want to take on this responsibility so it was outsourced to a private courtyard. Although these private colors are not up to standard. Something was wrong, but the social fox doesn't care. They're doing it without accountability. You can still make the difference. Why not? In a disabled home, abuses happen all the time. A new Goku, tying an old man's hand. The old man was beaten Don't to dare to struggle Seeing anymore. Sun Wukong's complicated Sister Fawn said that we are doing this for their own good. One by one, the old people were tied up, pushed to the rooftop, waiting for the high-pressure water gun to flush. Xiaoqi came to Kaiqiao house again. Ming Zai seems to have something to say to him. Kobayashi by the stabbing side. A doll with a stapler. Xiaoqi suddenly understood something. He uncovered Ming Zai's sleeve. It was covered with shocking wounds. Xiaoqi was calm and speechless. Take a photo for evidence immediately. After Xiaoqi left, the boss behind the colorful bridge came to the courtyard. He wants to add another 100 beds. So you can make millions more every year. The dean proposes to increase manpower. But the boss said it wasn't necessary. Wait for the day the shooter checks. Just send a few more to see the goods and help. The boss also arranged for a promotional video. All the residents are happy under the camera. The dean said proudly that although we are not relatives, but we are closer than our relatives. The dean of Kaiqiao Home is named Zhang Jianhua. He has a disability himself. Weak vision. I used to teach swimming at a school for the blind. Later, he went to a disabled home as the director. In a few years, he changed 3 homes. Later, he established the Kaiqiao House by himself. Xiaoqi asked the new reporter Jess to investigate. When Zhang Jianhua was the dean of those three institutions. What happened? This could be the crux of the matter. The robbery is a setback. The parties refused to disclose any information. He was very upset. Ask Senior Xiaoqi. You've been a memorizer for so long. Is there a case that makes you feel helpless? Xiaoqi said no. I have not shed a single tear. When you've worked so hard to finish a middle school news, and then, when those bastards were still out there at ease, you won't have. The feeling is gradually numb. The next day, Xiaoqi came to Kaiqiao House. Today is the wedding day of Brother Shui's granddaughter. Brother Shui is Tombo's roommate. The two have always had a good relationship. Xiaoqi specially rushed over to send Brother Shui to attend the wedding. By the way, take Tombao out for a walk. Smiling along the way. Curious to see everything outside the window. He hasn't been out of that prison for years. Prison-like place. Soon they arrived at the door of the hotel. But I just went in for a while. Brother Shui was kicked out by his family. He had a sad face. Forcibly squeezed out a relieved smile. The next day, Brother Shui never woke up. Xiaoqi went to the dean, and he didn't care. I didn't call an ambulance. Sister Fong actually said it was okay. He's just asleep. Human life. I didn't make a sound when you took it out. Brother Chun is so helpless that don't worry about it. 2 people here are quite common. It's been the 6th in half a year. Xiaoqi's heart was shocked again. These disabled elderly people live without dignity. And then he dies, and he's taken away and no one even claimed the ashes. Brother Shui walked away and passed a little lonely. Maybe he'll be next. Xiaoqi asks if you don't have a family? Xiaoqi's heart warms, and then it's sad. In fact, it is not stupid at all to pass. He's just getting old and has nowhere to go. It's better to play dumb than to sleep on the street. The water cut marks are quickly cleaned up. It's as if it never existed. Brother Shui's experience reminded Xiaoqi of his grandfather. After Grandpa gets old, Mom and his siblings, I don't want to take care of him. Send him to a nursing home. Soon after, my grandfather committed suicide. He was very unhappy with his mother's behavior. But my mother said what's wrong with the nursing home. What do you want from me without sleeping on the street? It's an excuse for you to talk so much. You treat me as a burden. It's a burden. I'm a burden. Old people are burdens. Mom's post-moralist attitude towards very dissatisfied. Why didn't you say it when you had an opinion? Didn't you also acquiesce that you would take care of him? It didn't fall on you. Of course you can point fingers. Little Seven seems to have been hit in the head. Nothing more to say. After a few days of unannounced visits, felt that her investigation had gone deep enough to report, but the boss has been dragging it out. He thought it was a serious accusation, but they have no direct evidence. If we don't report the truth, we are accomplices. News without evidence is not his reporting. Misleading, miss. You think you can change the world? Why are you a reporter? Winter solstice. Xiaoqi and her colleagues bought a lot of convenience food. Come to the house of Kaiqiao. This is the first time for these disabled people. Have such treatment. Everyone was happy. They were dancing and singing. Laughter continues. Such a warm moment makes Xiaoqi very moved. The next morning, Xiaoqi and colleagues take shortcuts. Come to the upstairs opposite the Kaiqiao house. Just set up the camera. They saw a group of elderly people stripped naked, strapped to a wheelchair. Old people are all naked. No dignity. Nurses wearing plastic gloves, rubbing the withered bodies of the elderly. It's like cleaning a shedding chicken. And it takes about half an hour. They had their heads down the whole time. Despair and numbness on the face. The last dignity of their lives. So ruthlessly trampled. After filming, Little Seven felt her hands shaking. He couldn't imagine it. How do these old people survive? After this, Xiaoqi's mindset has undergone tremendous changes. He was no longer interested in breaking the news. It was real. I want justice for these disabled people. He began to investigate more deeply. A shooter's staff said, the responsibility is to outsource all the work. Even responsibilities have to be outsourced. The so-called supervision is actually no one. Soon the incident was reported. Time triggers a tsunami of public opinion. The focus of social debate, and Xiaoqi successfully made a hit news. His investigation team was also exposed, but he wasn't happy about it. Because he knows the role of news and public opinion is very limited. We are all forgetful animals. Wait for the wind to pass. Those moonlights will be transformed. They sprang up again. Listing. You can't change the world. How many topics have I done in over 20 years? Many of them are popular. But has the world ever changed? Did you get better? In fact, kindness is not necessarily have to be rewarded. So when we do news, we have to keep it separate. Getting too involved will only harm yourself. Pretty soon, the new reporter dug up a new clue. Zhang Jianhua, the dean of Kaiqiao. The reason why I changed 3 hospitals in 1 year. It's because he really cares about his fellow residents. Xiao Qi pondered this sentence. Suddenly, he remembered the scene he saw at the Kaiqiao house between Dean Zhang and Kobayashi. That abnormal intimacy. Xiao Qi suddenly thought that vague possibility. I shudder. But what he doesn't know is a scene I boldly imagined. I don't know how much happened at the house of Kaiqiao. Dean Zhang took out an ice cream, lure Kobayashi into the room, then give him a chance to pluck his ears. Slowly reach into Xiaolin's clothes. Although Kobayashi is mentally retarded, instinctive victory it still made him feel disgusted. Just when Dean Zhang wanted to go further, Ming Zai came over. He really wanted to help Kobayashi. But Dean Zhang forcibly dragged him away and tied him to the corner of the cabinet with a rope. Returned to the room, locked the door. Those sinful hands reached out to Kobayashi again. Kobayashi in tears. I was shaking all over. He's like a doll that can't resist. Played by Dean Zhang. Hearing Kobayashi's desperate cries, Ming felt a sharp pain in his heart. He wouldn't stop struggling, like a tied-up beast. Finally, the desperate cries disappeared. Ming Zai finally broke free. The window in front of me emits a faint light. He pushed open the window. Catkins like snow. Spring is fading. Ming Zai remembered before he came here. Every spring, Mom would take him to the suburbs to swing. The spring sun shines softly on his face. Autumn swaying. It was his happiest time. Think of this. He goes out the window, falling into a beautiful spring. Ming Zai is dead. Ming Zai's mother is not very sad. Maybe he's been waiting for this day too. Waiting for a release. I still deserve it. Little Seven is silent. He knew he was not qualified to judge her. Because he can't understand. Take care of a mentally handicapped child all year round. How many things to collapse. After this happened, Kobayashi's mother took her daughter home. Xiaoqi wants Xiaolin to testify against Dean Zhang, but Kobayashi's mother said he didn't want Kobayashi to be hurt again. I really don't want to do so much. You think I'm selfish? I laughed out loud. I already owe him. I don't want the whole world. Point at me again and smile. Kobayashi's mother blamed herself. She thinks it's all her fault. She shouldn't have left her daughter in the hospital. She shouldn't have gone to work. But Xiaoqi knew it wasn't her fault. Blamed the entire social system. Because of Kobayashi's situation, even if you testify in court, it is also difficult to achieve the desired effect. So Xiaoqi decided to record the video evidence himself. But as soon as he mentions what happened that day, Kobayashi will have a strong emergency response. Recording can only be stopped halfway through. But Xiaoqi still convinced Xiaolin's mother to call the police. Dean Zhang was taken away by the police. Facing police interrogation. He has no fear. The police officer took out a tissue that took possession of Kobayashi's DNA on it. Dean Zhang gave a reasonable explanation. He has the habit of dreaming of rain. It's not surprising that Kobayashi's DNA because he always likes to play in his room. Facing such a shameless person, there's nothing the police can do because they are not in the little spirit. Find empirical evidence. Xiaoqi found a lawyer. The lawyer in charge of the case. The lawyer revealed. In the case of Kobayashi, it took several rounds by the opposing lawyer. Be upside down. Under the current system in Hong Kong, you cannot testify because hearsay is not accepted in